Raised in the church. I was raised in a very Christian home. It was I think a very legalistic kind of home, and really had rejected the faith and walked away. I had these feelings of wanting to be a boy all my life, but I really didn't. I didn't know what to do about it. I was very jealous of my brother, but and I'd had kind of a bad relationship with my mom. There was just a lot of, and then I was molested when I was 8. So there were some various things that had caused kind of these feelings, but I didn't see any of this connection until later. By the time I was in college, I'd been deep in pornography. I'd been sleeping around and had been so deep in sexual sin. And by that time, all I knew was that I really believed that I was a man, and I was so determined to go down this path. And I began going to a support group meeting, and they said, "Oh, you are definitely transgender." I mean, you've known me for 5 minutes, and they're like, "Oh, you're definitely transgender." And so I started down this path, and I began to take hormones. I had 2 major surgeries. Just went really as far as you could down this path, and I was just so empty, so broken. And I think the thing that I really realized above all, though, was that it wasn't real. No matter what I did, no matter how hard I tried, no matter how bad I wanted it, transition to another sex was not possible. And so that was kind of the hard reality check, I think. But through it all, God didn't give up on me. And despite all the problems I had with my mom as a child, she's the one that ultimately led me to Christ. And it wasn't through her own efforts. She didn't figure out step 1 through 1, 2, 3 how to fix Laura. She tried to do that all my life, but she had really surrendered me into the Lord's hands. And during the years that I was transgender, she was radically changed, ended up leading me to the Lord. And I thought I was going to be a man of God, and I was really excited that I could be this I didn't even have a transgender identity. I didn't want to be transgender. I wanted to be a man, and I was fully passing as a man, and I thought I was just going to be a man of God. But over the next year and a half, the Lord really began to break me down and began to convict me of the life I was living, and I didn't know how to fix it. And so there was a lot in that year and a half of the Lord slowly convicting me, and eventually it really was, I couldn't just pray away the feelings. I know a lot of people try to pray that, but it wasn't because God couldn't do it. He absolutely could, but he wanted me to totally die to self, to give up everything I had to follow him. It really was true. I'm so much happier now. The Lord's totally set me free. I have no desire to go back to that lifestyle. And now just been totally fulfilled in Christ.
Amen. And one thing that I've noticed and that I started doing actually, that was when I had did my first side-by-side photo, the old me versus the new me. And somebody said to me, "Wow, David, look at your eyes." And I was like, "Huh?" And I looked. And I was like, wow, here I was thinking I was overjoyed and happy, but my eyes looked so dead and so dark and so void. Even with a smile on my face and my facial expression, and didn't matter, the eyes were just like were lifeless. And then you look at the eyes of the you now, and it's like you see the spark, you see life, you see so much more. And it's such a blessing when we see that, because we really do sincerely believe that we are happy, that we are meant to be that way, that we are that way, that it's who we are, that we were born either in the wrong body or that way, or, depending on whatever path they chose, whether it's homosexual, transgender, whether it's trying to forsake the entire identity altogether, whatever it is, we truly believe it, and we do so sincerely, but none of that matters. Because when we see the picture side by side, and we can look into our old eyes and not even recognize ourselves.
But I wanted to mention, too, the role that you played in this and why I'm coming to your benefit specifically. Because there was about, I don't know, probably 3 or 4 months. I don't remember how long it was, but before I left the lifestyle, I had contacted you as Jake. And I was really crying out to the Lord. Actually, I'd been really, really convicted about this. But I didn't know how to fix it. And I kept telling God, I don't know how to fix this. I said, what am I supposed to do? Just show up in a dress and say, just kidding. Really, a girl, you've known me as this guy for 4 years. This is who I really am. But the irony of that is, I guess that's what I had done when I came out to people. But I was really, really afraid, and I really didn't know how to fix it. They tell you these changes are permanent and irreversible, and I didn't think I could go back. I didn't know if I could ever go back legally. And but I began to search out I begged God really to show me one person that understood how I felt. And because Satan kept telling me I was the only person that had ever been transgender and become a Christian. And he was like, you are just stuck like this. And so, but I began to search out some testimonies, and I came across very, very few at the time. But I found yours, and I emailed you, and I was just hoping that you would email me back. And I couldn't believe how you really poured into my life. And you really helped me see that I was never going to find peace with God and continuing to live in sin. And that no matter what it cost me, I had to leave that lifestyle. And you gave me the courage and the strength to do that. And I saw the transformation in you. And so that really gave me the encouragement that I needed. And it was just a huge part of my life at the time, because I really didn't think I could. So I'm forever grateful for that.
And then I can put into words. When I read your book, and as I was reading, I see my name and I was like, and then I really read it and I was like, wow, was it really that?
Yeah.
Was it really that deep? You know, I felt like I was doing exactly what I was supposed to be doing. You know what I mean? I didn't think that it was that, not that it wasn't a big deal, but I didn't think that it was that big of a deal, because I thought that's what we do, right?
Right.
That's what we're created. That's what we are here for. I mean, he pours his spirit into us and we're supposed to be pouring it out.
Yeah.
With everyone we come into contact with. And I know that a lot of us don't do that, and it breaks my heart, but just to know that, as I read it, I was just like, wow, you know, this doesn't even, you know, it blew me away that I was so instrumental in something that really every single person that you reached out to should have been equally responsive.
But when I emailed you, I didn't honestly think you'd respond, and I was really blown away. So I'm just incredibly grateful.
It's just sad to me. It's sad to me, because this isn't something that we shouldn't even be having to discuss this right now.
Yeah.
You know, we shouldn't even have to say, hey, guess what? This was so phenomenal because you actually responded. That shouldn't even be something that we should have to discuss. This should be something that should be the norm for us. You know, and I'm blessed, Laura, and I don't, you know, I don't know what to say to that, because a lot of people have commented about that aspect of communication with me, is that I actually had communication.
Yeah.
You know, and it wasn't a standard reply. And I just find that that's sad because, you know, but
and you never know, right? And you never know who you'll affect, you know, because you poured into my life, but then, you know, I've been able to pour into others' lives, and then, you know, when they get set free, and then they'll pour into others' lives. And it's like, God's always reminding me, it's like the fish and the loaves, you know, like he just multiplies. We bring this small little offering, and then God just multiplies it, you know.
And that's what he does.
Yeah.
He does it so well. He does it better than we ever can on our own, right? What are you bringing to the table, Laura?
Well, you know, when I was struggling with this, I know there are people out there that are in the position that I was, and you want to come out of this, whether you don't like the lifestyle anymore, or you're miserable, or you come to Christ, or whatever reasons you may have. I know there are people out there that don't want this identity, that don't want the feelings anymore, the desires, and you don't know how to fix it. Maybe you're feeling a lot like I was. But the number one thing I want to bring, first of all, is hope, in not only in my story, but in being able to encourage you, to be able to listen to you. You are so important. There was when David really reached out to me and poured into my life, it was life-changing for me. And I want to be able to be that for somebody else.
I was very blessed to have that chat with Laura. I've known Laura for a long time, and I actually haven't even talked to her since she's been married, so I can't even say anything about that, because I didn't. I knew she got married. I didn't know much else. All right, but I just wanted to put that out there because I think that it's important that we see that we have to pour into each other ever so freely what has been poured into us ever so freely. So I just wanted to share that chat with everybody, and I also wanted to just say to join us, if I can find it, but to join us for our I know I got it here somewhere, so just give me cut me some slack. We're in the midst of a blizzard right now, so I've been preoccupied all day trying to keep track on making sure that we're all that we're hunkered down and we're ready for this blizzard. And now I'm not going to be able to find it. Anyway, I just wanted to share with everybody and say, hey, There we go. To join us, right? Join us for our very first Ask an X-Trans Anything live stream, where I will try to answer questions, give some advice, address some concerns, and we'll even be talking about how to minister to and pray for those that are trapped in the delusions of this stronghold that we call transgenderism, aka gender dysphoria, aka demonic oppression, because that's truly what it is, right? So 2 more days, Wednesday, February 25th at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So if you got questions, if you got concerns, if you need some advice, then tune in to this 90-minute live stream and ask, chat, and voice your concerns, because guess what? Your question, your concern may bring an answer or a response that blesses many others that won't even ask the question, whether it be out of shame, guilt, or fear, right? So join us on Wednesday, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and I hope to see you there.